Hello and welcome to a special dialogue with me, Audrey Toyo, and TVR World. We are truly grateful for today. We have the opportunity to be in conversation with His Excellency Anton Demokin, who is the Deputy Foreign Minister and Chief Digital Transformation Officer for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. Hello, Your Excellency. How are you doing?
Hello, good to see you.
Great
How
to
are you
see
today?
I am great, thank you. Привет, it's in Ukrainian. Thank you for joining us in TVR World.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Your Excellency. And so, just to begin off the conversation, is this your first time in Jakarta?
It's my first time in Jakarta, although I'm already acquainted with the Indonesian culture and people, and I have the greatest experience and warmest in my communication with wonderful Indonesian people.
Perfect. And we are really glad to have you back in Indonesia after your last visit was in a couple of years ago.
It was around 2014, 2015. So I believe many things have changed. Indonesia is developing rapidly, moving into the new digital economy and digital era. But the core values, the real human values in the hearts of the people and the culture remain the same. And that is what is important.
Wonderful. And on the topic of drought transformation, Ukraine and Indonesia has had a great collaborative relationship, especially in the last few years, even since the unfortunate war that is still ongoing in Ukraine currently. And I believe that before this interview, you just gave a statement on the updates of the war that is currently ongoing. Can you give us and elaborate with us a little bit of what is it like on the grounds now in Ukraine?
It's very difficult to comment on such things, really. Although what I could say that we continue to fight for our borders, and we stand strong that we must regain the territories as they were on the lines of the 1991 borders, including the Crimea that was annexed in 2014. Our army managed to restore and regain about 50% of the newly occupied territories in the recent times. It is always a question of the price we are paying for living every day of the war, in human lives especially. So we do truly hope to come to the victory as soon as possible, and support of the international community on our strategic allies is of great help and makes a great difference on the battlefield and in helping us reach the victory faster.
And we do hope that the situation will de-escalate soon and there will be victory, as you said, in regaining the sovereignty of the country. And how do you think the support from the international community has been during this time? You said it's played a pivotal role. How has it helped specifically for Ukraine, especially this year?
What we observed, starting with a full-scale invasion in February 2022, we observed how people united. And first we could see it how citizens of Ukraine united, helping each other and really taking care of each other and being ready to give everything they had to the person being next to them in need, helping get away from the attacks from the territories that were being attacked by missiles and soldiers, helping save each other. And then we saw how the international community united. And indeed, the help was game-changing at every step. Of course, it was military help, but it was also a huge amount of humanitarian help. There were a lot of diplomatic communications there. There are things that I believe in the history of humankind will always remain the same. These are the core values of humanity. And whoever shares these values would unite against emerging evil in the world wherever it would come up. Unfortunately, it happened in Ukraine as the full-scale invasion with the war of Russia against Ukraine unfolded last year. And the world united on the basis of real human values against the evil.
And speaking on the international community reaction that you mentioned, Indonesia has also had talks, especially our president discussion with President of Ukraine, President Zelensky as well. How do you see the bilateral relationship between Ukraine and Indonesia is looking at this moment?
Well, our relationship between our countries and people has always been warm and developing and mutually beneficial. I believe nothing has changed in this sense, and with every new step, we build on this synchronicity. Of course, we have the supply of the grain from Ukraine as one of the important issues now, as Indonesia has been importing quite a large amount of grain from Ukraine. And this is a major priority for the president and Ukrainian government to restore all the stable supplies of grain from Ukraine, looking for different alternative channels and alternative routes that could compensate for the blocking of vessel shipments of grain through the Black Sea. For that, also increased air defense and military defense of the corridors on the Black Sea are important, and Ukraine is working on that as well. So, apart from that, considering that we are moving to the new digital era, and Ukraine is quite advanced in digitalization of the public sector, in cyber resilience, in the new and emerging technologies. Ukraine is happily sharing this experience with Indonesia, and this is one of my key points on the agenda for this visit, to share the opportunities with Indonesia of our experience, share the technology stacks that we have verified to work well, that can be easily implemented and deployed in a fast way on a large scale. We know that digitalization is a priority for the Indonesian president as one of the instruments to make life for the citizen of Indonesia much more comfortable. So we are very happy if we could bring some extra value to this process based on our experience. Also, cyber resilience, because that would include also the cyber security and other measures. Unfortunately, we learned this through war, having to guarantee the continuity of the public services, banking sector, the critical infrastructure being under cyber attacks. And the experience we gained is in practical cyber resilience, in capacity building, in regulations, as we understand, is important for any type of disruption, including emergencies and natural disasters. So we believe that experience that we have through the unfortunate war can be applied in other parts of the world to create the resilience to any types of disruptions that we may face in the future. And considering that Indonesia, together with the ASEAN countries, are working on the Digital Economy Act. And as we believe, Indonesia and Singapore will be in many ways leading this path to the new digital era in this region. We think it is important to not to lose time, not to make mistakes that we may have made, and to move in the most optimal way. Because we don't have that much time, as the artificial intelligence and the quantum computing are coming.
Yes,
really and as soon. They come in, we will have to start dealing with a new level of sophistication and challenges. So we should really move fast, and I'm very happy to know that our cooperation between our countries may develop in this area and provide more growth, more opportunities for growth for our economies, for our businesses, for our countries, for the prosperity of Indonesian and Ukrainian people.
Indeed. And we would like to go more into this. After this, we are going to take just a short break and we'll be back on our special dialogue. Stay tuned on TVI World. Welcome back to a special dialogue on TVI World with me, Audrey Otoyo, still with the Deputy Foreign Minister and Chief Digital Transformation Officer for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, His Excellency Anton Demokhin. Again, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us today on TVI World.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And before this break, Your Excellency, you mentioned of how your visit here, one of the main areas of focus is emphasizing on digitalization, in which Ukraine has been a main competitor in the aspect of digital technology since many years ago, I would say even a decade ago, much farther than Indonesia. And so my question is, especially in this time when AI, when computerization, when digital technology is already at the forefront of the agendas and issues that presidents and world leaders are talking about. How can Ukraine especially transferring of technology as well as knowledge to Indonesia that at this current moment still has a big percentage of digital literacy gap in its people?
Well, it's interesting because we faced all the similar questions and challenges. Maybe on a different scale and a bit of a different proportion. But we started actively digitalizing the public sector and the services probably 2019. So it's not been that long. And after about 2 years, we had the DIA application rolled out, which is a state in a smartphone concept, where we have all the documents, passport, driver's license, car documents, insurance, birth certificates, all in the application and in a secure application. And at the same time, we have some of the services available there that citizens may be using during their lifetime. So what we have developed with the Ministry of Digital Transformation is a life cycle of a person, of a citizen, from birth to death, and all the services, administrative services that a citizen may use. And the goal is to have them all available in one application, in a smartphone, secure, with digital signatures, with required security instruments. One of the recent services that was implemented is allows to marry, to have the registration act of marriage done through the application. Wow. Between the two people. Especially during the war, that turned out to be very useful because people continue to live their lives, continue to build families, build their future, even despite of all the difficulties. And for some people, it's very difficult to meet in a particular location to get their marriage certificate. So this new service helps them do it. In fact, we have managed to continuously roll out the new digital services for our citizens during the war, despite of everything, and we'll continue to do that.
And so it is a digital ecosystem, you would say.
Is.
Yes, and
absolutely, it's a digital ecosystem. The app is something that the citizen uses. Then there's the government sector, the systems that work on the side of the ministries and government bodies, and the systems that link these systems together. Of course, all of this is protected with cybersecurity and is processed in data centers and in the cloud. So it's quite and connected to other e-commerce and digital economy tools, online banking. So we can now open a bank without having to go to the bank. We just open the bank application and open the bank account by sharing our documents from the DIA application to the bank application. And can you imagine when we start doing things like that in such an easy way, how much time we can save, how much energy we can save, and direct that energy is something great that humans would love to do. Create great things together instead of having to walk around with papers and standing in queues. At the same time, the digital literacy question that you asked is important. And we are working on the online digital literacy programs. We have an education portal, again, driven by the Ministry of Digital Transformation, which has all the required learning education programs free of charge, available for access, that would teach the digital literacy and basic cyber hygiene, right? So basic knowledge about cybersecurity, but without all the tech difficulties. Another component that is important to understand is the communication infrastructure, so that people would have access to the internet, and that is usually resolved through 3G, 4G, and 5G networks. Of course, 5G being the most modern set of technologies that's being implemented in the world. And in terms of experience sharing, we enjoyed great cooperation with Estonia, supported by some of our other international partners and international organizations. Having received experience on digitalization from Estonia through different work groups, through different consultancy projects, through different projects to build certain solutions, we managed to upgrade that experience to a new level and build our ecosystem. So this year we returned the favor to Estonia by returning the DIA application, the States in the Smartphone one, to Estonian colleagues, and they implemented it. It is called MRIC, and this is the upgrade to their ecosystem now, because before we were using the web portal as the main tool. So we know these approaches, how we enjoy this cooperation and sharing of experience and receiving that experience from our partners, and we would use these approaches and methods of cooperation, right, to provide and share that experience with our Indonesian colleagues as we move along in sharing that experience.
Yes, and in greater cooperation between both countries. And it's quite amazing, as you said, because there's a duplication then of technology transfer from Ukraine to Estonia, and hoping that in the future, in the near future, that will also occur and is in process in Indonesia as well. And well, we will be back with more dialogue on the opportunities of cooperation between Ukraine and Indonesia after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our special dialogue on TVR World, still in conversation with His Excellency Anton Demokin, who is the Deputy Foreign Minister and Chief Digital Transformation Officer for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. And Your Excellency, going into this collaboration between Ukraine and Indonesia that has had a great long-standing relationship between the both countries, we know that Ukraine is well known for its high-tech development, as we have spoken about before, and based on some media reports that there are 88 investment projects between Ukraine and Indonesia that are worth approximately $1.6 million US. Could you please provide any insights of those investments that are currently in place?
The world is moving to digital era, and the borders are going away. So people will continue to work more and more with people they like to work with, where they get more synergy, when they connect, with their hearts and add their minds with their knowledge to the formula and create that fusion. And with the digital economy coming, there are more and more markets and market niches that will arise. And considering both Ukrainian and Indonesian IT markets are quite advanced, and the technology teams that are working in Indonesia and in Ukraine are creating very modern IT solutions. And with artificial intelligence coming, with quantum computing be the new kind of mainframe for all the computing infrastructure that will be in the future, with satellite communications, with all the other space related IT technologies, there are great opportunities. And as soon as we remove the artificial blockers, the artificial kind of barriers for people to collaborate and cooperate globally, that will give a major surge in all the innovation and amazing new products and level of living for our citizens. Because when people create together, when they earn money, they want to invest money into doing something great again that makes people happy. This is the basic and default formula for a human being. And I think this is what we share with Ukraine, between Ukrainian and Indonesian people. So I think that will be the driver, the digital economy and digitalization of public services and digital transformation will be that major driver of the new industrial era that will create all those many amazing opportunities and new levels of living for every citizen.
I like how you mentioned that once we remove all the artificial borders, I mean, truly, the possibilities are endless, right? And
Absolutely.
I can feel also your energy of there's so much hope moving forward in the future for both countries. What are some specific, especially focus areas that you believe can be increased in terms of investments from Ukraine to Indonesia and vice versa?
I would say that automating industries, automating production, automating agriculture, adding robotics, adding drones, air, land, and sea, to increase the crop, to facilitate the modern farming, sea farms, land farms, sky drones could also serve a great role in optimizing the crops to make sure that there's an even coverage of fertilizers, for example, or some other things. Satellite imagery is a great help. Businesses can optimize their insurance expenses if they manage the coverage of their fields in the correct way, if they can forecast floods, for example, if such things happen. So I believe a lot will go into robotics. A lot will be going into automating those industries that have like that major upgrade for some time. At the same time, artificial intelligence will replace many of the daily routine work that people were doing. So that will give an opportunity for humans to be more creative, to do their work that is more, well, to that part of their work that is more about human than about processing, about typing in machinery, right? And that will also open up new types of collaboration and new products and solutions. And so having that free time to create great things with robots and artificial intelligence being our really powerful helpers, we can continue to upgrade the infrastructure, upgrade the living conditions. We can create forests and waterfalls in the desert if we wish so, right? So in this sense, what we will be working on, we will be upgrading our infrastructure and communications. Digital and e-commerce services are going to be the first steps once the digital economy kind of opens up more and more. More trade between within the ASEAN region between the countries. More trade for individual entrepreneurs. without those barriers, right? So once you get those smaller particles moving around at greater speeds, plus all the transactions. So the fintech industry is very important because it's one of the backbones that allows for all those transactions to happen fast. Mm-hmm. Now, once you get that speed of movement of those particles, you can imagine how much energy and momentum it gives for more greater things, raising the level of living of people. And yeah, that would probably be a kind of some accents and an outlook into the environment we are going to and where the new opportunities will come from for investments.
For investments. So things are looking up indeed for both countries and for both collaboration. And unfortunately, we are going to the end of our conversation. What are some closing remarks that you would like to address, especially to the Indonesian people and audience, on your hopes on what the future will bring, especially in terms of cooperation between Indonesia and Ukraine?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you and terima kasih for sharing the values, for our cooperation and synergy throughout these years, for the friendliness that we share as people, as businesses, as governments. I'd like to say that the new digital era is amazing and it opens up opportunities and removes the barriers. So we should all be conscious about this, working to develop ourselves, our skills, learn more about the basic tools that we need to use, create better conditions for this development in our daily lives. And allow ourselves to dream big, to create the world that we want to create, that we want our children to live in, without wars, with peace and prosperity, with a secure cyber world, being, instead of something scary, as the cybersecurity sometimes is, being a firm backbone for our global human society and our countries and our nations, in the sense of being that backbone that would support our daily living and allowing us to be free. To be free to create, to collaborate, to do great things, to explore space, to create forests and waterfalls in the deserts if we wish.
Which is possible.
Absolutely. So I think we should all aim in that direction and see what prohibits us from getting there faster, and try to get rid of those elements that instead of helping us, in a way, kind of block us from getting there sooner. And collaborate. Yes.
So the sky is the limit then. Or
I believe there's no limit in the sky.
Oh, there's no the sky is the beginning.
This is the new version. Yeah. The sky is the beginning. That's
right.
The
sky is the beginning,
The
indeed.
sky is the beginning. Absolutely.
Well, Dakkayu, Your Excellency, thank you so much for coming on TVR World and having this wonderful conversation with us. It is truly an honor to be able to speak with you on these future collaborations that we are most looking forward to with Indonesia. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Terima kasih. It's an honor to be here in Indonesia, and thank you for this conversation. Best wishes to Indonesian people, Indonesia, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And that is the end of our conversation today with His Excellency Anton Demokin, who is the Deputy Foreign Minister and Chief Digital Transformation Officer at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. I'm Audrey Toyo. Thank you so much for watching this special dialogue and have a good day.